When Prime Video confirmed that Belly and Jeremiah's wedding day would happen in episode 8 of the summer I Turned Pretty's final season, we all knew we were in for one of the most intense episodes the show has ever given us. And honestly, even with those sky-high expectations, this episode somehow managed to blow them all out of the water with an hour of television that left us completely shaken. After what can only be described as an emotionally traumatic experience for both Team Conrad and Team Jeremiah, the episode ended with Jeremiah being the one to break off the engagement and leave Belly at the altar. With the wedding called off, Belly packed her things and made a beeline straight to the airport to book a ticket to Paris for a fresh start. But plot twist, she spots Conrad sitting alone at the airport, making good on his promise to leave town and telling Belly he wouldn't be seeing her for a long time, knowing it's probably for the best. Of course, this was all before Jeremiah called off the wedding, and we're absolutely certain Conrad is going to have some serious thoughts about what this could mean for his future with Belly. But the real question is, will Belly choose to give Conrad another chance? Belly heads to Paris and leaves Conrad behind. The episode picks up right where we left off. Boarding is underway for Belly's flight, and she makes the choice to board that plane without saying a single word to Conrad, who doesn't even spot her at the airport. Right after she gets on the plane, Conrad's dad calls him asking how Jeremiah is holding up, and that's when Conrad realizes the wedding never actually happened. You can see it all over his face. There's this glimmer of hope in his eyes as he ends the call and heads out. Cut to Jeremiah, who's drinking his problems away at a bar when Conrad shows up. But before he can even make it inside to check on Jeremiah, Stephen and Taylor intercept him and absolutely lay into him. Taylor sends Stephen away so she can have a one-on-one with Conrad. During their conversation, Conrad is genuinely shocked to learn that Belly isn't there. The tension quickly eases though, as Taylor admits the blame isn't fully on Conrad. Belly and Jeremiah both share responsibility here. While Conrad wants to help Jeremiah, Taylor points out that he's not what Jeremiah needs right now and suggests he heads back to the beach house. He lights up briefly, thinking he'll find Belly there, but Taylor breaks it to him that Belly isn't at the house. Either she's left and needs space right now. After turning Conrad away, Taylor heads back to the bar where she and Stephen do their best to watch over Jeremiah, who is absolutely reeling from everything that's happened in the last several hours. As he questions whether Belly has run straight back into Conrad's arms, they tell him that Conrad is at the house and they have no idea where Belly is. They eventually get him back to the house, where he finds a card wishing him and Belly a lifetime of happiness. He goes to call Belly, but Taylor suggests giving her some space. He listens to the advice, but asks her to wake him if she hears anything hinting that while he broke off the engagement, his feelings haven't just disappeared with the flick of a switch. Turns out, Belly didn't get into the Paris program. After struggling through customs when she first arrives in Paris, Belly makes her way to the academy, trying to check in and start this new chapter of her life. But here's where things get brutal. The woman at the desk tells her that her spot was already given to someone else. Belly explains that she got a call from a man who told her there was still room. Well, turns out that guy was completely wrong and was looking at an outdated spreadsheet. There truly is no space for her in the program, and there's absolutely nothing they can do about it. Heartbroken over this news, Belly finally calls her mom and brings her up to speed in a completely tear-filled phone call. She's spiraling hard and worried that everyone hates her, which Laurel assures her isn't the case. After the call, Belly heads to a cafe to grab something to eat, and her day somehow manages to get even worse when her backpack, which has her engagement ring in it, gets stolen. Thankfully, she's got an AirTag on that bag, so she starts racing through the streets of Paris trying to track it down. Jeremiah regrets calling off the wedding. Back in Cousins, Jeremiah wakes up and checks his phone, only to be disappointed that Belly hasn't called. Feeling defeated, he crawls back into bed to wallow in the mess he created. Later, Laurel shows up to check on how he's doing. But instead of accepting the olive branch she's extending, Jeremiah basically tells her to get lost, shouting that she's not his mom as he slams the door right in her face. And Laurel isn't the only one getting the cold shoulder. Shortly after, Stephen is heading to the house to gather some things for Jeremiah when he bumps into Conrad, who's about to go see Jeremiah. Stephen lays into Conrad again, telling him to get lost, and just keeps piling on as he storms off. Stephen hands the bag off to Taylor, who delivers it to Jeremiah, who has crawled back into bed at this point. He thanks her for the Gatorade, assuming it was from Stephen, but Taylor comes clean that Conrad actually sent it for him. The second Jeremiah realizes it came from Conrad, he stops drinking it and pushes it away, then asks Taylor again if she's heard from Belly. He then tells her that he's made a huge mistake, that he doesn't know what to do without Belly because she's his everything. Sounds like someone is having a serious case of regret after calling off that wedding. Do Belly and Jeremiah get back together? Back in Paris, Belly's search for her stolen bag leads her to a club. She tries her best to get past the bouncers, but without the password, she gets turned away. As she's leaving, she spots this sleazy guy bothering a young woman and instinctively jumps in to help, pretending to know her, and it works because the guy finally backs off. In return, this girl Gemma helps Belly get into the club, where she's able to get her bag back after confronting the thief. Gemma introduces Belly to her friends, and they're all completely fascinated by Belly's story. That's why they're so shocked when she tells them she's booked a flight and is heading back home. After failing to convince Belly to stay, she boards a bus to the airport and finally calls Jeremiah. The moment she mentions being in Paris, he starts gushing about how he can't sleep without her and begs her to come home, saying he just wants things to go back to the way they were before the wedding. But when she tells him that's not possible and that she's going to stay in Paris for a little while, his whole demeanor turns ice cold. He tells her to not call him again and just hangs up on her. Needless to say, there's no reconciliation happening here, and it really seems like this is the end for Belly and Jeremiah. After that heated phone call, Jeremiah heads to the beach house where he actually takes pleasure in telling Conrad that Belly called him. As he informs Conrad that Belly is in Paris, he gloats about how, while she might not have chosen him, at least she didn't choose Conrad either. This incredibly cringeworthy conversation ends with Jeremiah adding Conrad to his growing list of people he's told off, as he tells his brother to leave and never come back. As the episode wraps up, Conrad is coming to terms with his feelings and what he needs to do next, while Belly prepares to start fresh in Paris, unsure what's coming next, but excited to see where this journey takes her. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more.